Hey everybody, Greg from Tales from the Pythian. Hope you're doing good today. Today is an exciting day. Today, we're going to start the Curse of Strahd series, and we're going to build it from the ground up in Foundry. Okay, so we're going to build it from the ground up in Foundry. We're going to go about it in a certain way. So 1, we're going to use Beneos Battlemaps. 2, we're going to use the rules as written imported from D&D Beyond. 3, we're going to use supplementary information by Dragnacarta, which we're going to link into our journal. 4, we are going to use supplementary information by Pyram King, and I'm going to show how to kind of aggregate that information and eliminate other information that we don't need, right? So as an example, Pyram King does a great job with his Legends of Barovia series. He works with DM Andy to make some spectacular maps, packages that all up into a Foundry module and sends it out to you. Well, we're using the Beneos maps, so we don't need DM Andy's maps, although they're fantastic. But we don't need them. So we're going to talk about how we kind of get rid of that. And then that's going to be step 1. We're just going to talk about how we get it all in here and get our base set up. And then we're going to roll on in future videos with kind of working from the Gates of Barovia through Death House, the Village of Barovia, the Crossroads. Step by step, we're going to prep each individual area as we kind of go through and build out this world, right? Right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to create our world, and we're going to call it Curse of Strahd, and it'll be for the YouTubes. So that's what we will call it. And the game system will be Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. We're not going to worry about anything else because, we'll do that later. So let's launch this world. So again, we're going to set up the base. So we're just going to talk about what we need to do that as far as using Beneos and whatnot. It's pretty straightforward. I have all of his module dependencies installed already. So we'll talk about what those dependencies are. And we will look at the settings in some of them, and I will do my best to kind of explain what those modules do. By no means at all on this planet am I a coder. I do not code. I can look at code and kind of tell what it does sometimes. But man, I couldn't write it from scratch to save your life. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go right into Manage Modules. And we're going to go straight to the Beneos module. Okay, and this is going to give us everything that we need. So he's going to use the Moulinette core. So if you don't know, Moulinette is a module that allows creators to upload their creations, maps, tokens, that sort of thing, prefabs, tiles, and then allows users like myself and yourself to search for that inside of Foundry. It's a pretty cool service. Token magic effects. You've seen me use these before in previous videos, and this allows us to apply effects to tokens and tiles. The Moulinette scenes, which is the subcategory of the core, and this is going to find scenes. So this is going to let us import the Beneos scenes into our world. Multi-level tokens is used. There's a few different ways that this is used, right? So you can create stairways. You can create passing under a bridge type of scenarios. I think I used multi-level tokens in one of my Fandelver videos when I did the Cragmaw hideout. You can do cool things where you can draw a box and make it appear if you were on the second floor looking down over a balcony that you see tokens in a lower level. I actually did do that in my my personal Ravenloft game at the Blue Water Inn, where if players were on the second floor, they could see tokens on the first floor from a different map, which is pretty cool. FX Master is going to be weather and pixel effects. Monk's Active Tiles. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I am a huge fan of Monk's Active Tiles, so I'm sure that there's a ton that he uses these for. Some of the simpler things are like play pause buttons. He doesn't really use them for his scene transitions. He more uses this point of interest teleporter, which allows you to basically drag a journal entry onto the map. And when you right click it, you can jump to different scenes or activate different scenes. Library Scene Packer is what's going to unpack, in our case, because we're not creating a module, we're using them. It's going to unpack Pyram King's stuff. It's going to unpack Ben's stuff and load it into our module. Lock view, this is a cool one. It just basically lets you lock the view extents of a scene. So if you want your players to see a certain point of view when they first come into the scene, like it allows you to prevent them from zooming or panning, and you can set the boundaries of the scene so that, you know, it's only the extents, and they just see that and it's locked in place. It's great for like landing scenes and stuff like that. And then libwrapper, which is a library module, which I'm not 100% sure what it does, but it's required for quite a few modules. So this is what we're going to start with. Now, I'm not saying this is all we're going to use by any means. I like to run a very highly automated and animated game. So we will be adding more modules as we go along, and we'll deal with them as we come to them. Okay, so let's just hit yes, and then save the module settings. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go to the scenes, and we're just going to create a scene. We're going to call it delete. The reason for this, okay, is because Moulinette will not let you, here, let me demonstrate. Let me just delete the delete scene. Maybe it's changed. If I have nothing here, I can't activate anything on any layer, nothing. I can't do anything. So if I create a scene, that all changes, right? You have the delete scene. We can just save the changes. Now all my layers are active, and I can go to Moulinette. And then the first thing that I'm going to want to do is sign in with my Patreon. So I have my web browser open up here on a different screen. I'll hit the sign in button, and then I will click for it to allow to find me and verify me. And then once it does, bam, there we go. And it tells me all of my pledges on Patreon. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring the base level of Curse of Strahd from Ben in here, and that is going to be the map of Barovia and the landing page. This is basically the foundation, right? So we'll go to our scenes. It's going to index it. This is cool. You can pop down and search by creator. So I find Beneos. It's got all of his packs. And so I'm just going to take COS, Curse of Strahd 00, Barovia map and landing page. That's going to narrow it down. Once I click it, it pops up this first dialog box. It gives me a little preview of it. And then I can just import the scene. Once I click that button, it's going to ask me if I want to import all of the entities of this pack or just this scene. And it does just exactly that. It will only import what we see right here in this little image box. However, if I clicked import all 205 entities, it's going to pull in all of the 4K scenes, all of the journal entries, everything. There's actors that are tied to this. It's going to pull that all in one bang. And so we're going to just click go and let it run its little functionality. It doesn't take very long. It tells you what it's doing as it's doing it. You can see we've already got the map that's come in, and that it is creating some more scenes and some actors and assets. And then we'll take a look and see what it pulled in, and then we'll pull in Pyram's stuff for where we're going to go next, right? All right, so this is how you know it's done. It pops up the help documentation, basically, which is great. You can get back to this anytime on most of his maps just by clicking down here on this how to use. It's a double click. This is a monk's tile right here, right? So a double click and boom, there we go, into it. All right, so there's the map. Over here, we can click on the landing page. Oh, I don't have a module enabled, so we'll get that module going here in a moment. We'll view this scene. So here's the landing page. Let's close this Moulinette. And you've seen this on my video I did where I kind of reviewed this, and it's pretty cool. Everything functions out of the gate. If I go back to the token layer, we can go to the characters, and they're there. We can go to the journal. It's there. We can go to Taroka deck. It's there. So we have, kind of everything that we need from the off to kind of get going, right? So let's bring a couple more pieces of information in for our base. So let's go back to our manage modules and let's bring our Pyram King stuff in here. So I'm going to be looking for the Gates of Barovia, and I'm going to go ahead and bring that in. And while I'm in here, I'm going to do myself a favor and I'm going to add Monk's Scene Navigation. Okay, and we'll talk about what Monk's Scene Navigation does as well, since I'm bringing it in. All right, so yes, we'll let that come on in. And we continue building up our base. So what the Scene Navigation does is it allows me, Monk's Scene Navigation, it allows me to come in here and I can now simply, if I just click on the landing page, it's going to go to it. Whereas vanilla Foundry, I have to right click and go to the scene. I can also go ahead and toggle the navigation. You can quick toggle it up here as well when you have it open, but it'll keep it, it'll keep it up in the top for your very quick and easy navigation. While we're in the scenes, I'm going to go ahead and delete my delete scene because I don't need that anymore. We're good to go. All right, so Pyram King stuff. Jumping over here into the back side. Here we have the Gates of Barovia 5E, and then he also has the Gates of Barovia system agnostic, which we're not going to use. It's very cool. He does it system agnostic as well. You could run it in like Shadowrun or Dungeon Crawl Classics or any of those things. But so we're going to grab the Gates of Barovia by Pyram King. It's going to tell us we're bringing in 4 journal entries, 6 scenes, 3 roll tables, a playlist, 8 folders. Great. Let's go ahead and import that adventure. It brings it in straight away. We're looking at the Theater of the Mind scene, and that's fantastic. So let's talk about what this is for a moment. So Pyram includes kind of like your hook location for prior to coming to the gates, and that's great. That's what this scene is all about. I'm not necessarily after the scenes, and I'm not after the battle maps. Again, they're fantastic maps. They're by DM Andy. They look terrific. He does a great job, but we're going to be using the Beneos. So let's go ahead, and as far as scenes go, I'm just going to delete them. I don't want the scenes. As far as the tokens go, now this is a different story. Let's see if we even got them. I didn't see that it brought tokens in. Journal. Definitely here is our journal for Gates of Barovia. Player guide. Yeah, Legends of Barovia. So this goes over some stuff. Pyram did, again, a fantastic job putting this all together. It's very cool. And one of the things I like to do when I get in here is kind of color code these things, right? So that I know what's going on. That is the gates. That is Ben stuff. So let's bring in the gates from Ben stuff, right? Let's go back to our scenes and just jump to this landing page. Go back to Moulinette, back to our scenes. Let it index, go back to Ben, and then let's just look for the Gates of Barovia, COS02, find the first 4K. It's going to pop up. We'll import it, import all 58 entries. There we go. All right. And you're going to see real quick, this is why we're not using even the Theater of the Mind scenes from Pyram stuff, although they're fantastic, because these are just, there's a reason we're using Ben stuff. So, all right. And you'll notice right out of the gate too, that, these all work. So this takes us right back to the map. If we came over here and we viewed the scene, it takes us to the Gates of Barovia. So you can see immediately that we get that interactivity going on. So very cool. And when you right click, you know that this is the point of interest teleporter module working, because it gives you this dialogue right here where you can view the scene, activate the scene, or toggle the navigation, however you're going to roll with it. Okay, so now we have the Gates of Barovia scenes. We have Gates of Barovia tokens. We're going to figure that out. We have Gates of Barovia journal, which is Pyram Kings, which is what we were after. Okay. And then we have the player guide, which we will probably get rid of. I probably won't use it. And then the campaign guide, which is very useful to kind of go over. So I said rules as written as well, right? So how do we get the rules as written in here? So we're going to come back into our manage modules, and we're going to find the DD Beyond importer. We're going to go ahead and activate that. Save the module setting. Tell it yes. So now that this guy is open right here, we are going to come into our compendium packs, and you're going to see right here we have the DDB Muncher. All right. So I'm going to come back into my settings. I'm going to go to configure settings. I'm going to go to the DD Beyond importer. I'm going to check my course setup and make sure that my Cobalt cookie is good and that my Patreon key is in there. So this is kind of the same principle that we had with Moulinette. So no key, detect Patreon status. Up in my web browser up top up here, it's I click the allow button and it's providing me a key, and then I'm just going to paste my key right in here and I can save it and I'm good to go. I can just save those changes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to import the Curse of Strahd module in, and I had to do a little bit of pre-work for that on my side. I mean, I could have done it on screen, but I'll just tell you what I did. So I used this D&D Beyond Adventure Muncher, and basically what you do here is when you launch the Muncher inside of Foundry, you can set up your basic settings, which we will do in a moment. And under adventures, you generate an adventure Muncher config file, right? That's what it is looking for right here. So you would load your config file. So it's looking and it's finding that config file on my computer. Then I would select the output location, which I've already done. And then you would select the book, right? So Curse of Strahd. And then you can make any of these, you can take any of these options you want to. I did not take any of them. And then you just hit the generate button. And what it does is it generates a file, a JSON file. So then when that's done and you have that file, you come back in here to import generated adventure. All right. So we click on this and we will choose the file, right? Here's Curse of Strahd. You can see I just did it the other day, 328. Click open. So now we have the file. I don't want any of the scenes. All I want is the journals. So I don't want to link anything at all. And I'm just going to import it to compendium, just because I like to try to keep everything in the compendium if I can. So in this dialog box is basically saying to me, hey, are you sure you don't want any of the scenes at all? And I'm going to just tell it, yep, just give me the selected ones because I didn't select any. And then it's going to start downloading all of the information. And there you go. Working the journal entries. Done. Just like that. Awesome. Okay. So we'll go ahead and close it. And then let's go take a peek out here and delete some things. So you see we have this Curse of Strahd folder that's empty, except for the Beneos, right? So this is because we didn't import them into the game. We ported them into the compendium, right? So like Curse of Strahd, non-existent. Items, nothing. Journal, it's all going to be nothing because it's in a compendium, right? So I just want to kind of show you when you see things there, don't necessarily think that they're going to be there, right? See, all of these are empty. I don't know why it does this, but we're going to do an F5, right? So we're in F5, and that should clean that all up. I'm not sure why it does it, but yeah, see, it's all gone now. Well, let's find it. D&D Beyond Adventures, Curse of Strahd. 26 journal entries, 20 roll tables, 30 folders. Let's import it. This is going to bring in actors, items, journals, which is exactly what we want. We can close this, go to the journals, Curse of Strahd, and here we go. Table of contents, the introduction, Ravenloft Revisited, Into the Mists, everything about Strahd. It is basically the book, Lands of Barovia, Village of Barovia, the areas, everything. It's right here. Everything's hyperlinked. It's fantastic, right? So that's rules is written in there. That is Pyram King in there. And again, we're going to have to go through and cherry pick and delete some things as well, right? So I also said Dragnacarta. So how do we bring that in? So with this, for this, I'm going to use a little trick that I learned from a creator named QED Hupp, who's a Canadian creator, and he does a lot of stuff for Monty Cook Games Cipher System on YouTube. And I suggest you check him out if you play Cipher System in Foundry, because it's exceptionally helpful. So all we're going to do is I'm going to pop open a new journal, and we're going to call it Dragnacarta COS, right? And then we're just going to add a page, and we're going to call the page Reloaded. We'll make it a text page. We're going to create the page, and then we're going to go to the source HTML button right here. And I'm just going to copy a piece of code. Told you I am not a coder, but I can copy and paste it like a madman. Paste it in here. And basically, the most important thing to remember, and this does not work for everything, guys, okay? It works for some things very well. It works for other things not good, and some things not at all. But basically, after this src equals, inside the quotes, we have the website. So this is Dragnacarta's Curse of Strahd webpage right here, inside the quote. We put that in there and we hit save, close it. Look at this. Now we have, just right inside of Foundry, the entire webpage. Act 1 Into the Mists. Here's the summary. We can read it. All the milestones, the escape from Death House, his Patreon, the hyperlinks, right? Strahd's first followers. We can jump all over the place and read through here. Goes to the past. Everything works. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's a wonderful reference to have inside of the game. Just remember, if you close it and you reopen it, you're back to the front page. That's the only thing, okay? So there we go. So now, depending on where we're at in our game, so we're starting at the beginning. So we have beginning the campaign, session 0 and character creation. We have all of this information that we can read through and we can use in our session 0s and all of that sort of thing. If we're running a specific part of the game, say, welcome to Barovia. So here we go with the old Svalish Road, and we can read this box text as opposed to the rules as written box text, or Pyram King's box text, or we can put this together however we want to, and we can pull from the resources that we want to. And that's what's important. I had somebody ask me or tell me in one of the comments on one of my videos that they were curious to see how I aggregated or how I would aggregate the three things together, right? The rules as written, the Pyram King, Dragnacarta, Mandy Mod even. You could do this here too. We can bring that information in here. It's not necessarily about aggregating it. It's about having the information available at your fingertips that you need and doing the prep work ahead of time to understand how you want to use it, or what might be better for this group versus another group, right? Or where they're at in their game, or the tempo that you're looking for, or the atmosphere that you're looking for in your game, right? All right, cool. So that is Dragnacarta, Pyram King, Beneos Battlemaps, rules as written. We have our base in here. This is where we're going to start, guys. Ask me questions down in the comments. Pause, follow the steps, get it all ready to go. Next week, we're going to get a little bit deeper. We're going to do some cleanup over here. Get everything exactly how we want it as a solid base. And then we're going to move forward, and we're going to start bringing in more of the Beneos maps and prepping this thing out and adding modules as we go along, looking at their settings, all that stuff. We're going to do it from the beginning to the ending. And when we're done, we should have a nice, solid Curse of Strahd build that we can just copy and take forward, right? Anyway, I'm Greg. This is Tales from the Pythian. If you found this video useful, give me a thumbs up. If you find it really useful, subscribe down below. Please don't forget to tell me what you think, and we will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.